All right, so today we're going to talk about conflict, but not in the way you might think. We're not talking about how to win an argument, but how to completely transform it. We're going to dive into a really powerful tool that can change the entire game, strategic empathy.
Okay, so let's start right here. Most of us, when we get into a disagreement, we're stuck on the left side of the screen. Our brain is automatically asking, how do I win this thing? But what if we just threw that question out? Strategic empathy asks something totally different. How do we move forward? And that small change, well, it's a huge shift from seeing a battle you have to win to a problem you can solve together.
So, why is this shift so incredibly important right now? Well, here's the paradox of our time. We have never been more connected to each other technologically, but we're also facing this huge modern disconnect. Let's dig into why that is.
I mean, just think about how we talk to each other every day. Tone completely vanishes in a text message, right? All that important nuance just gets flattened out by a headline. And the social media algorithms, they are literally built to reward outrage over actual thoughtful dialogue. All of this stuff is happening so fast, and it's creating and widening what we can call the empathy gap.
You know, when we hear that word empathy, a lot of us think of something kind of soft, right? A sentimental feeling. But that's a huge misconception. What we're going to talk about today is a much more powerful, more practical tool for getting through tough situations.
So what exactly is strategic empathy? Well, it's not a passive feeling that just happens to you. It is a deliberate, disciplined practice. It's the conscious choice to try and understand the world from the other person's point of view, not so you can agree with them, but so you can find a way forward, a path that pure logic on its own just can't get you to.
This was the exact mindset that was so critical during the Oslo Accords, where people who were bitter enemies had to find a new way to even look at each other. And it all starts with this one thought: recognizing that the person across from you is human too. That's the seed. Everything else grows from there.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds great in theory, but does it actually work in the real world? The answer is absolutely yes. And we're about to see how this exact same principle plays out everywhere from super high-stakes global diplomacy all the way down to your average day at the office.
I mean, when the stakes are as high as they can get, empathy has been a total game changer. During those Oslo Accords, negotiators started sharing stories about their kids, and suddenly, the other side wasn't a monster, it was a parent. And look at post-apartheid South Africa. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission showed the entire world that a country could look at its darkest, most painful history not just with anger, but with compassion, which allowed it to heal instead of just breaking apart.
Okay, let's bring it down to the workplace. Picture this: a manufacturing company where two teams are basically at war, production and quality control. It was just a constant blame game. So they tried a simple exercise. Each team had to just explain their daily challenges, and the other team's only job was to listen, no interrupting. And the breakthrough? It was almost immediate. Quality control had no idea production was so understaffed. Production didn't realize the crazy pressure quality was getting from buyers. The result? They built a solution together that no boss could have ever forced on them.
And this works on the most personal level you can imagine, too. There were these two siblings, hadn't spoken in years because of a fight over an inheritance. They'd been to mediation twice, and it failed because they just came in with their lawyers ready for a fight. The big shift happened when a new mediator tried something different. She just asked them to share some favorite childhood memories. And for the first time in forever, they saw each other not as legal opponents, but as the kids they used to be. That didn't magically make the financial stuff disappear, but it turned a battle into a collaboration.
This all leads us to a really, really important idea, what you could call the empathy paradox. Because true empathy, the strategic kind, it's not about being weak or just giving in. It's actually a form of deep, profound strength. So the paradox, it starts right here. You can totally, genuinely, 100% understand the pain or the fear or the frustration that is driving another person's actions.
And here's the kicker: you can do that without endorsing their choices. This is the #1 thing people get wrong about empathy. Understanding is not the same thing as agreement, and acknowledging someone's humanity is not the same as saying their bad behavior is okay.
This is the real power move, being able to hold both of these ideas in your head at the same time. You can be fiercely, unshakably committed to your principles and be completely open to the humanity of the person you disagree with. That's not weakness, that is strength with some serious depth.
Okay, so how do we actually start doing this? How do you put this into practice?
Well, we've taken all these ideas and distilled them into a simple, actionable playbook with 3 core things to focus on.
And this quote kind of gets to the heart of why this all matters. Look, conflict is going to happen. It's inevitable. The real choice we have is how it ends. Do we want it to end in bitterness and resentment, or do we want to find a resolution that everyone can actually live with? It all comes down to the approach we take.
So what does this look like day to day? It really comes down to these 3 things. Number 1, listen beyond the words. What are the emotions they're not saying? What's the history behind their position? What are they telling you in their silence? 2, actively look for that shared humanity. Even when things are heated, find that one little flicker of common ground. And number 3, and this one is so important, you have to act on what you understand. Empathy without action is just sitting on the sidelines. You have to use that understanding to build a better way forward.
So really, at the end of the day, the goal here isn't to create some perfect world where nobody ever disagrees. That's impossible. The goal of strategic empathy is to navigate the conflict that's bound to happen in a way that lets us get to the other side with our most important relationships, whether they're professional, personal, or even diplomatic, still in one piece.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. The next time you find yourself in a disagreement, just ask yourself this one question. When it's all over, when the dust finally settles, who do you want to see sitting across the table from you? An opponent that you've beaten, or a fellow human being that you found a way forward with?